Hey yo guys, I'm back here to give you my reviews of both WWE's Backlash, which took place live last night from the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence, Rhode Island, as well as a plethora of boxing that took place over the weekend. Mainly the stuff that took place over Saturday between Showtime and HBO, with the Showtime card that took place from Connecticut, which offered probably one of the greatest finishes I've seen of 2009. Not, just in any combat sport, whether, be pro wrestling or MMA. Boxing definitely has delivered, definitely maybe finish of the year in that Carl Froch and Jermaine Taylor fight, as well as the HBO card from Puerto Rico, which had Juan Manuel Lopez on there, taking on Penalosa. Anyways, we'll do Backlash first that took place last night. I guess actually before we get into it, Q&A, if you still want to send questions on MMA, boxing, or pro wrestling, hit it in the inbox. But anyways, this card, I would have to say, it wasn't the best pay-per-view of 2009. It certainly wasn't the worst, but I would say it was the most eventful show of 2009. Definitely, a lot of positives to write home about. Really stupid segment in there, but a lot of good matches, a lot of good work rate in here. So I'd give it a really good show off the start. Anyways, we started things off with Jack Swagger versus Christian for the ECW title. Gotta say, Swagger's recent matches and the recent stuff he's been doing in this company, they're really putting him over strong. The match he had with Christian on ECW, which was Christian's first track, was awesome. Christian not only had fantastic storytelling in that match, but he helped put Swagger over there. Then you had Cena and Swagger, where Cena helped put Swagger over even more so, and Cena got him over more so than Christian was, because Cena's the biggest guy in this company. And then Christian and Swagger had another strong match where Christian once again continued to put over Swagger. Swagger is just someone that we really look out for. I've been saying this for months now, but Jack Swagger is the future of this company. He's got definitely athletic base. The man can talk, and for the fact that he can talk with a speech impediment is just incredible. Plus, he has a real strong ring work. Now, I'm not saying that he did nothing in these matches, but he held his own against, some real strong workers in the likes of Cena and Christian. Same thing was here. Christian did some good storytelling as well, selling and whatnot. But I like this match because one thing I liked was how they kept it sort of to make it seem like a true athletic contest. When you have a match with Swagger, they seem like that, where, Swagger, things get going, really fast-paced, but Swagger likes to keep them on a nice amateur base. Good near falls. Their crowd really was into Christian, as, they definitely have been. Christian definitely has probably been maybe the best worker of WWE for the past 2 months, what have you. Anyways, I really like the finish in this match because it, it makes Christian still seem on that little edge. He's definitely a babyface, but he can be, if he ever wanted to go heel, he could. Where, Swagger tried to rip off a turnbuckle pad, referee stopped him, but in the other corner, directly opposite from Swagger, Christian did the same thing. Swagger charged in, hit head first. Christian hit the kill switch, gets the victory, and becomes ECW champion. Overall, fine with this, absolutely. I think Christian, great talker, gonna be good there for ECW to have a popular babyface like him with their belt. My only gripe is his next challenger may be Kozlov, and no one can help Vladimir Kozlov. No one. But yeah, with Swagger, you could probably throw him, definitely another rematch will happen on ECW. Plus, I think you can throw a Swagger Evan Bourne program, which, to me, that's money right there. Or even a Gregory Helms, or Hurricane Helms program. Anyways, then you had Christian come back and was celebrating with all the baby faces like Finley and Tommy Dreamer and Evan Bourne. And then, he saw Edge and had a nice little chat thing. It was a pretty good backstage segment, I have to say that. Then we went over to the next match, which was Chris Jericho versus Ricky Steamboat. Really enjoyed this match as well. Definitely Steamboat's best in-ring work. The crowd wasn't as into him as they were with him in Texas, but still they were into him on a pretty decent base. Steamboat definitely got to do his trademark stuff, but, Steamboat, for a man that's, over 50, to have that, he showed up in, the best shape he showed up in for, the recent weeks for his matches. For him to be at that age and that shape and have that ability to have a strong work rate, incredible. I give this just proves that this should have been the match that took place at WrestleMania 25, when considering these two had the most chemistry, not only on the mic, but in the ring. I don't know why they had to throw, I understand why they threw Snuka and Piper in there with us, but come on, work rate. I mean, this is definitely a better match than what we got at Mania. A lot of the matches on this show, to me, were of that nature. But still, really good match. A lot of near falls. Crowd was into the match. I mean, there's that spot where I believe Steamboat did a cross body, or Jericho hit him with a move, and you clearly saw, everyone thought it was over, but you could kind of sense that Steamboat was getting his foot on the rope. It's just a good match overall. I mean, hopefully this is the end of Steamboat, because I don't want you to overkill it. The thing to me, I thought the finish should have been this. I understand that, you're supposed to always have the guy who's an active worker go over the legend talent, or whatever you want to call it. I would have had it this way. I'd have had, a Ray come out. Probably Ray, because I think Ray and Jericho, they've never really had a program in WWE. In WWE, they had one in WCW. It was pretty successful. But in WWE, have Ray come out and, try and distract Jericho. Steamboat gets a fluke roll-up. There you go. Your new program, and Steamboat can easily be written off. I don't want to see Steamboat again. I think this is just so special. Don't bring him back too often. If you want to bring him back in maybe next year, but let's not overkill this. Then we went to the next match. It was Punk versus Kane. This was definitely the worst match on the card, but overall it was still a pretty, a passable match. It was basically like a TV match. I would say it was better than their matches that they had. The match they had on Raw, which was just fucking weird and awful. I mean, the finish was so bad and fluky. I mean, that finish. I must say it was better than that. Punk and Kane have this goofy kind of chemistry where they'll have a bad match, but then they'll have a really good match, and then they'll have an okay match. I mean, they aren't consistent. Like, you'll either have an opponent where you don't have chemistry with, and it's the same all the time, or have an opponent you'll have a really good match with all the time. Punk and Kane, they just go all over the place. But, it was okay. It was passable. I mean, Punk worked over the arm of Kane, which, was nice and all. The thing to me, finish was Kane getting, basically, it wasn't really a chokeslam, it was more of a Baldo bomb, only he didn't sit out with it, to pin Punk. The thing to me was, why did we have to have Punk lose? I mean, people all immediately thought, the Punk's clearly cashing it in. To me, I wouldn't have done it there, because one, next Judgment Day's in Chicago, there's potential for that to happen. And two, I mean, he just took a finish, basically, and it would make no sense for Punk to come out and cash Money in the Bank in. At that point, he just lost off a finish. It doesn't make him look all that great and wonderful at that point. Then we went to the next match, which was the I Quit match between Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy. I'm going to say this match was definitely better than the one. I wouldn't say it would be better. There were elements of it that were better. I thought definitely the anger was there. The frustration of Jeff Hardy, because Jeff, had that frustration in some promo time going into Mania, and, Matt definitely had that jealousy thing, but they really didn't bring that violence with them. I guess my problem with the feud is the fact that it just doesn't seem to attract the fans as much as it should have, and plus they booked it kind of like a TNA feud, where you started off, it was Extreme Rules, then they had a stretcher match, and then, they had a tag match. The tag match is definitely not a gimmick match, but still, the singles matches, they're all been gimmick matches, so that's not something I'm a big fan of. But, this was definitely a good match. I liked it. A lot of people are complaining that, they didn't use blood, or they didn't use weapons. You know what? I don't think you really need to do those in that much in a I Quit match. It's trying to, make your opponent, say quit. It's basically what they used to do to people who wanted to get into the business, and they stretch them, so that's basically what this whole purpose is. Matt was stretching and, working over Jeff's knees, and, I think I like Matt. Matt has so far developed into one of the top heels in that company. It's unfortunate now he'll be out of action for a while, as on the finish of this match where he was strapped to the table and Jeff, did that split-legged through the ladder. It broke his hand, and he's out, I believe, 6 weeks, which is unfortunate. He was supposed to be one of the top heels on Raw, and you could definitely sense that. But when Matt was getting the offense in, and he couldn't put Jeff away and get Jeff to say, I quit, he's like, just scream at him, quit, quit. I really liked that. I thought that came off very well. And then I already just told you the finish there. Jeff, strung up Matt Hardy around the table, which I liked, kind of like the Last Man Standing match that, or Falls Count Anywhere match that Macho Man Randy Savage and Crush had at WrestleMania 10, where the finish was Crush was tied up and he couldn't make it back to the ring. Kind of like that here, only, you know, Matt cut a nice little promo, and Matt was just awesome, saying, you know, that their mother in heaven wouldn't like this, their father would be very disappointed. And then, you know, before Jeff decided he's just going to do it, Matt quit, and then Jeff came down, and the fans kind of were like, oh crap, he's not going to do it. But then he did it anyway, the fans liked it, so definitely enjoyed this match. You know, the feud really didn't work as well, but I think the positives are, one, we definitely know Jeff Hardy's under contract still, because you wouldn't put Jeff Hardy over like this the way you put him over. I mean, you may have given him the win, but if he wasn't going to stay, you'd had Matt, you know, come up and lay the beat down and eventually, you know, win the war, so to speak. But just the way they gave that finish there, you can tell that Jeff's there. And plus, you have a new top heel. I mean, Matt Hardy is just awesome as a heel. And then the pay-per-view kind of took a slight of a downward turn when you had this garbage collie kiss cam bullshit on this pay-per-view. I mean, this was epically terrible. You know, Santina came out and like, oh my god, it was just terrible. This was just horrible. I mean, they said that, you know, Santina was in love with another man. It was Jim Ross, and Jim looked pissed. Like, they definitely didn't tell Jim Ross about this. And it's something that WWE just loves to do, Vince McMahon especially. They love to embarrass Jim Ross. I think it's the funniest shit ever. I mean, with Dr. Heine or kissing McMahon's ass. You know, how we had this here. He probably was in a good mood or all week, and they decided, let's just fuck with Jim Ross. Anyways, I think the part of this segment, though, was Jim Ross when he shot on Michael Cole. Because, you know, Michael Cole said, come on, barbecue man, why don't you get in the ring? And Jim goes, hey, barbecue man, who fed you that line, Cole? That was just the greatest part of this whole segment. Overall, this was just an epically bad segment. This was just fucking terrible. I've seen segments on Nitro that were more organized than this. You know, it definitely wasn't the worst segment I've ever seen, but still, this did not belong. This didn't even belong on fucking Velocity. Let's just put it that way. Epically terrible, and then you had an impromptu match where, you know, they did this little dud on Beth Phoenix's head, and Santina got the pin. The crowd really didn't care. No one cared. Some people thought it was funny, and I really would like to know what your sense of humor is about. If you thought that was fucking funny. This was a train wreck. Bad. Like, they just had zero planning and mapping this out, what happened here. Then we went to the next match, which was the triple threat, the trios match, or not, excuse me, the trios match for the WWE Championship. If anyone on Triple H's team gets a fall, Triple H retains. If anyone on Orton's legacy team got the fall, Orton retained, or got to be the champion, I should say. And then they added this thing that the title could change hands on DQ or count out. Really, I will say that the match started off weird and kind of bad because you had Triple H and Orton brawl the floor, and Orton ran away. To me, I would have definitely done this had both of them go away, or if you're going to have anyone go away, you have Orton, you know, hurt Triple H where he has to eventually come back, because you got to give, I would give the heels the advantage. Once again, they fucked it up and had the faces with the 3-on-2 advantage. And, you know, the layout, it was just slow to be slow. They really didn't get into it until Orton made that comeback down. Plus, when Orton eventually came down, they started to get the heat on Batista? Really? Wouldn't you want to get the heat on McMahon? Because if Shane's getting the heat on him, he has two options. He has the better wrestler on the team, which is Triple H, and you have Batista, the power guy. So I didn't understand why Batista was the one getting worked down. Now, definitely Batista's selling and what have you has improved dramatically over the few years here, but still, I just didn't think that was the smart way to do it. It dragged on at some point. Eventually, it started getting good. Once it started to break loose, the match did eventually pick up. I will say that. I like the finish in this one where there's kind of that tease that Batista distracted Triple H, which led to the RKO. You know, the bell rang and whatnot, but I'll pass on that. I mean, it was pretty obvious that the title could have changed hands anyway, even before the bell rang going into this match. And then you had Orton punt Triple H, and, you know, they did the sell job where he went on the stretcher. So definitely Triple H would be off TV for a while, and, you know, the fans chanted, nah, 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 goodbye, which to me is an interesting thing. Definitely Triple H would be off TV for a while, which is a positive. I think he ever since they've been related him officially with the McMahons, he's been a cold character. haven't got into him as much. Orton was definitely getting the biggest face reactions, but then again, this is the Northeast, and the Northeastern crowds like to cheer the heels or the people they feel are strong workers and don't get the treatment, and stuff like that. Now, if it had been up here in Canada, we would have probably never seen a WWE show again, but that's just my thoughts here, or in Ontario at least, so that's just my thoughts. Overall, this was a good match. Definitely was better than the match that Triple H and Orton had at WrestleMania, I will say that. It picked up for a while. That's my thoughts there. Then we went to the main event, which was, a match you just knew would be good, as John Cena and Edge have some of the best chemistry in the business today, I will say that. I said this to a number of people. To me, the John Cena and Edge feud is basically, if you were to go back 20 years, you have Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage, with Cena being Hogan and Edge being Savage. You see it in the characters and, just how the feud is. That, to me, that is what is the closest thing to relate these guys to. It was definitely it was a last man standing match here. Another good match here all around. We have to remember that the angle going in was that Cena had a concussion and then was coming off of that. So overall, they worked well. They did a great job, teasing the counts, teasing the false finishes. These, near falls, what have you. This was just great stuff there. There were a couple interesting spots where Cena hit the attitude adjuster on Edge into the crowd onto a couple of plants or indie workers, what have you, which then led to get this match, get going a little bit more, as like Edge was like, what, I'm in the crowd, fuck that, I'm running away. He did. Cena chased him, they're up in the concession stand, and they ran back down, and Edge got, face planted onto some equipment. They went on to the stage, and Edge hit the one-man concerto, and, he wanted the count. Edge's facials are just something that are, like, if you want to learn how to be a great wrestler and you weren't a good athlete, the facials, just watch Edge. He's going to show you how it's done. He did that, and then, it looked like Cena was going to hit the attitude adjustment off the stage. The Big Show, hustled out. He choke slammed Cena through a light, which, to me, definitely throws to the next program, and, if Cena couldn't recover, Edge became champion. A lot of people are complaining that he's a 9-time champion or whatever, like, title reign numbers mean anything today. It's not like it was, 20, 30, 40 years ago where, it was considered a sport. It's a sport to an extent, but come on, he's a 9-time champion, what have you. Is it a big deal? Not really. It's not like he's going to break Flair's record, so don't worry about it, but it looks like, Edge gets to go back to SmackDown with a belt, so SmackDown finally has a championship, and Cena then goes to a program with the Big Show, which I'm fine with, as they've actually had some good chemistry as of late. People said the finish really took away from the match. I thought the finish added something to it, where, Edge and, Big Show worked their things out. They could have maybe thrown something online to show that, but what have you. I liked it. It was a pretty dramatic finish. At least Cena didn't get out of it, and I just like the finish all in all. Overall, it was a really good pay-per-view. Thumbs up. Definitely order the replay. Definitely get the DVD out, just to see the things you definitely want to check out. You definitely want to check out this match, as it's just another great installment in the Edge-Cena feud, and their history in this company. Definitely want to see Steamboat have maybe, the best match that he's had in these couple weeks since he's been back, as well as, another strong Jack Swagger Christian match. So that's really all you need to do. And it was a pretty good I Quit match. The only thing you really need to skip is that fucking atrocious segment. Anyways, so overall, thumbs up. Definitely leave your thoughts, best match, worst match, comment section. Anyways, quickly do the boxing here. We'll do the Showtime card first, as this took place first on Saturday night. This took place from Connecticut. All in all, it was a good night of fights. We started things off between Allan Green versus Carlos De Leon Jr. And really, I've heard a lot of people say, thank HBO for postponing their main event or whatnot. Maybe we should thank Allan Green for beating the fuck out of Carlos De Leon Jr. Because that's really what this was. He got assaulted in the second round. There was this beautiful cross from Green. Like a beautiful knockdown of the year candidate from Allan Green there. De Leon did not see this punch coming. He then got, knocked down 3 more times. Referee stopped the fight. It was a good stoppage. I would probably stopped it on the third one, because one of them he got knocked down. He did a barrel roll. It was pretty scary. Green admitted in his game plan at the end of the first round he wanted to kind of let the round go to De Leon Jr. To get him his confidence going, and I thought that was actually maybe a smart game plan. Only if you finish, because if you don't finish, then you just look like a jackass. But still, I like that. All in all, really good performance there from Allan Green. Big props to him. Then we go to the next contest, which was of course the main event for the WBC Super Middleweight Championship. Carl Froch coming over from the UK to defend against Jermaine Bad Intentions Taylor. And early in the fight, it really did look like Jermaine had bad intentions for Froch. I mean, he came out there, used what he had to do. You know, he definitely knew he had the faster footwork, he had the faster hands, and he showed it. He really doesn't, he's not really a power puncher, but he for sure rocked the hell out of Froch in the third, definitely knocking him down. You know, he rocked him. Froch said he was there. I'm not really sure if I'm going to buy that 100%. He definitely caught him with an overhand right that Froch admitted he didn't see, and you could tell. Knocks Froch down for the first time in his career in boxing since he turned pro. And it looked like things could have been, over quickly. Now, there was definitely a lot more time in the round, and, Taylor needed to finish because, to me, ever since the Kelly Powell fights, he hasn't finished. Bad things happen. The Kelly Powell fights are something that are scarred on his boxing career forever. He's trying to come back, and the thing from this point on, the fight started out even. I gave the first round to Taylor, second round to Froch, third round through about round 7, I would give everything to Jermaine Taylor. As Jermaine Taylor then, dictated the pace, still won every round, had the better work, a better punching ability, was making basically Carl Froch looked kind of dumb in there. I won't say 100%, but still, it was still competitive, but he was definitely winning the advantages when it came close. I mean, they were close rounds, I should say that, and he definitely won them. But then, the main issue I had for Jermaine Taylor was his cardio. He really hasn't had that great cardio, and if you look at the Jeff Lacey fight, the most exciting round was a Lacey round, and things got a little sluggish towards the end. Taylor would eventually win the rounds by, a hair, and that's eventually what happened here as well. Or in that fight, excuse me, in this fight, from that point on, it was Froch winning. Froch had the better cardio. He's, maybe the welcome, more conditioned fighter, and he was the bigger fighter who decided that, hey, I'm the bigger fighter, I'm going to dictate the pace, and I'm the champion. I can't be losing anything here. So that's exactly what he did. He worked that uppercut. It was just fantastic. They got, rounds kind of got close in, I believe, rounds 8 and rounds 11 got really close to score, but I think Froch was just doing more, had better uppercuts and what have you. And then it got to the wire because a lot of judges' scorecards, it was either a draw or Taylor was up by a single point. And Froch knew this. So what did he do? He went out there, bossed the walls, went to defend that title and prove that he to be recognized with in boxing, and that's exactly what happened. He went out there, he charged him, he hurt Taylor. Taylor's cardio fell flat after Taylor could not capitalize on his knockdown or anything of that nature. When he had Froch in trouble, Froch realized this, went out there, hurt him, and you could tell Taylor knew that all I have to do is stand up and I'll probably win, or if there's a loss, it's a draw and I don't get a knockdown off my loss column. That didn't happen. Taylor gets knocked down. He gets knocked down, and I mean, the place is just in kind of disbelief. There's definitely a lot more people there for Jermaine Taylor. The British fans start cheering. Taylor gets up, definitely makes that a 10-8 round, and the referee stops it as, Taylor isn't really defending himself well, and Froch's just unloading on him. Froch retains in a definite finish of. To me, this is the runner-up for Fight of the Year between Diaz and Marquez. Oh, this was just some great boxing. I was jumping up and down because I knew that Carl Froch is the man. He's one of the top boxers. I shouldn't say the man, but he's definitely someone that really needs to be looked at. A lot of people were doubting him. They were saying, what have you. I mean, HBO doubted him. I mean, this could have been on HBO, and it's like, nah, he's not a big enough name. HBO, you got to take gambles like this. You had someone who's been on your network and Jermaine Taylor a lot, up against someone who, to me, is the next Joe Calzaghe. That's what, they missed out on, and you had, Froch call out Joe Calzaghe, which I think would be an interesting fight, and plus you had the call out, potential rematch there between Taylor and Froch. I think that's going to be Taylor's MO. He gets in a big fight, he'll lose it, he'll probably get a rematch, and the same thing will happen. That's just, to me, what happens there. And quickly, I'll just run down the main event. The HBO shark from Puerto Rico. It was Jerry Penalosa versus Juan Manuel Lopez. Just basically Juan Manuel punches a lot of them. They hurt a lot, and you could tell he just basically beat up Penalosa. Penalosa, you couldn't knock him down. I mean, he's a real tough guy. He's never been finished, and, you know, it's proven there. But Freddie Roach was like, you know what, you've had enough. You've just taken a big beating here. I'm going to protect you. And maybe me thinking weird here, but next weekend, of course, we got Pacquiao from the Philippines, same with Penalosa, and we got Hatton from England, same with Froch. Could that be a thing where you had the British fighter win and a Filipino fighter lose? Maybe I'm just thinking too weirdly about this, but that could happen. That's definitely for next weekend, though. Anyways, I'm out. Peace.